With the revival of the classic version of Slave Isaura on Globoplay, there has been a lot of talk about the fact that the actress who played Isaura's mother was a relatively white woman, whereas what should have been correct was a mulatto woman, although the term is now classified as distasteful and even prejudiced, since the origin of the term mulatto was the result of an unfortunate comparison with the origin of the mule. In the book, which was written during the period of slavery in Brazil, the author uses this term to describe Juliana, Isaura's mother, although he claims that she is almost white, comparing her to another character in his novel, The Jealous Escrava Rosa, versions of Juliana in other adaptations. In the adaptation of Bernardo Guimarães' novel 10,004, Juliana was a beautiful black woman, played by actress Valkyria Ribeiro, and the character's origins become clear in the first chapter. She was the daughter of escaped African slaves and refugees in Quilombos, although we only meet her father, who soon dies when the Quilombo is invaded. The woman is then sold as a slave to Commander Almeida. In 2016, Juliana becomes the protagonist of a soap opera played by Gabi Moreira, and her origin is undoubtedly cruel. The character is the result of violence during the transportation of enslaved Africans to Brazil by a monstrous slave trader.
Okay.
This makes the character quite clear when we see her alongside other slaves. I'm not sure how Isaura's mother character was portrayed in the movie and even in the soap opera of 1965. I'm not sure how Isaura's mother was portrayed. I just know that the actress Yacy Torres, who played Juliana in the movie of 1929, was black. I also don't know if any alternative origin was presented for the character in that film, because then in the soap opera of 1976, the character was replaced by an almost white mestizo woman. White. Why did Gilberto outsource Isaura's origins by suggesting that her mother was the daughter of an almost white mulatto woman with a white man? If we analyze the original synopsis of the soap opera released before the premiere in 1976, we can see that Gilberto describes Juliana as a beautiful mulatto. So, why didn't we see that mulatto on the soap opera? The explanation. Initially, Gilberto wanted Isaura to be played by a dark-skinned actress. This is what he revealed in an interview for the book Autores Historias da Teledramaturgia, launched by the Memoria Globo project in 1928. He admitted at the time he was writing the soap opera that he didn't want to be faithful to the book because he himself considered Bernardo Guimarães' novel to be full of errors, mainly because he didn't believe in the possibility of a mulatto woman, although quite light, giving birth to such a white girl with almost no traces of miscegenation, even though she was the daughter of a Portuguese man. And because he disagreed with Bernardo, he tried to change Isaura's color in his adaptation. Hovel, who knew the story of the book, he said that he couldn't change Isaura's color because of the sequence at the ball, where Isaura had to be white to be mistaken for a high society girl. Otherwise, Isaura wouldn't even enter the ball, since black people didn't take part in high society events except to serve the guests. Unfortunately, it was then that Gilberto ended up having to change Isaura's mother's real color. Because that was the only way he believed that Isaura could be born white like that and fit in with the Celia Santos interpreter chosen by Herbal Rossano. Gilberto mainly disagreed with the description of Isaura's hair in the book, which was black like the ebony of the piano case and curly. So how could Isaura be seen as white at the time? For him, a person could only be considered white if they had straight hair. and he made this clear in the texts of the novel. Watch the scene in which Malvina tells Henrique that she met a slave girl.
But Henrique, you can't even imagine this creature. All her features are pure and soft, including her hair. She has white hair.
White. Note that Malvina wasn't so shocked just because the slave was white and played the piano. She made a point of emphasizing that Isaura had white hair, i.e. straight, and in the case of Lucilia Santos, it was light brown and straight. Therefore, she could never be the daughter of a mulatto, according to Gilberto, the movie Mestiça, a Escrava Indomável. Sonia Braga played the mestiza slave in the movies in 1975. That mestiza I mentioned ended up being the inspiration for Isaura's mother in the soap opera. Would necessarily be the daughter of a black Indian with a white man, like the mestiza in the movies. The slave Juliana was descended from enslaved Africans. That's why her hair appears very curly and even disheveled, precisely to show that she was the fruit of a light mulatto with a white man.
Beautiful, very light, almost white. As long as you see a slave like that, my daughter.
So, have you thought about my proposal?
No, sir, please don't ask me.
Oh, Juliana, you smell so good. Come here.
Come here.
Look at the outsourcing of Isaura's origins. Juliana in the soap opera is basically the Isaura described in the book, with her chintz dresses, black hair and curls. The only thing missing was long hair, like Isaura in the book. And when Januaria said that she was almost white, she meant that her hair was very curly, whereas Isaura, being clearly white, had straight hair. Lady Francisco was chosen by Herval Rossano, who had already co-starred with Lady in the soap opera Cuca Legal, in which she played Elizabeth, known professionally as Berta Lamar, a circus actress away from the arena, who obsessively dreamed of returning to the activity. Lady Francisco was a sex symbol in the 1970s. After having been part of Flavio Cavalcanti's jury and having made her first soap opera on TV Tupi, Geronimo, O Herói do Sertão in 1972, 3 years later, she gave life to the character Rosa in Pecado Capital and Berta Lamar in Cuca Legal. While the soap opera was still on the air, Lady recorded at least 6 films for adult audiences. That same year, she was invited to play the slave Juliana in Escrava Isaura. To suit the sensuality of the mixed-race Juliana, based on the modifications made by Gilberto Braga, who altered the color of Isaura's mother, Lady Francisco was not taking the place of a black actress when she played Juliana. Milton Gonçalves, the co-director, agreed that he couldn't imagine any other actress to play her. Lady had played the sexy secretary in Capital Sin, and Milton, as an actor who was part of the cast, was able to see how well the actress performed. At the time, Lady, like Sonia Braga, lived with a tan, her hair always in the same pattern, curly with bobs, and the sensuality in her gaze that enchanted everyone. The change in the description of these main characters made Isaura's origin ambiguous, leaving open the true cause of her mother's enslavement. Gilberto didn't even bother to explain why Juliana was an almost white mestizo. He left it up to the character Januaria to make an excuse during the revelation. The truth is that the origin of the character was not explained even to her interpreter, since later, when saying in an interview that she would play Isaura's mother, confuses the slave with an Italian woman. Note that the characters always referred to Isaura's mother as a very plain woman, interracial couple in the soap opera. In the second part of the novel, when Alvaro enters the scene, Gilberto introduces the viewer to an interracial family, something unprecedented for the following decade in Tanger. Lucia was the daughter of Andrada, a black man, and Carolina, a white woman. Note that Lucia was practically the same color as Juliana. Coincidence or not, Lucia appears wearing a dress with lace of the same pattern as Juliana's dress. With regard to Juliana from 1976, it's a shame that the novelist didn't surprise everyone at the end of the novel, revealing that Juliana was Januaria's daughter, like some white man who had visited the farm in the past, thus justifying why the relationship between the cook and Isaura was so strong. Was nothing less than blood ties. But that didn't happen. And the origin of Isaura's mother in the soap opera will remain an eternal secret. As we can see, there are several ideas for the origins of Isaura's mother. What would be the story of Juliana's birth as told by the late Lady Francisco? Let us know in the comments. That was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any criticisms or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Big kisses and see you in the next video.